Start.
Dobra.
Powiedz mi, bo nie widzę siebie. Gdzie mam drugi ekran prezentacji? No dobra, mam wszystko. Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to Virtual Vision Show by Adaptive Vision. Today I'm meeting you instead of regular trade show. Unfortunately, we cannot meet you this year face to face, but instead we organized a virtual event for you so that you can see what's new in our products and what's new in our company. So I'm very happy to see a lot of people joining our today's event. We have almost 400 people registered. I know some of you are from Europe, but some of you are also joining from Asia. I really appreciate for you staying longer to join our event. And I also know some people are joining from Americas, which is really appreciated as there is basically middle of the night. So I will start this event by an overview. So you will see some things in general. Here is the plan for my presentation. I will tell you things about our company, what has changed since the last time we saw you. And then I will proceed with showing you the new products. So the thing that you usually see at trade shows, I will now demonstrate you in virtual way. And later on, my colleagues will show you details of what's inside of the new products, and will show you presentations on specific topics, also some technical, very technical ones. So first I will show you the new products, but also news about licensing, about what has been improved in those products. But starting with the company, a very new thing since last year, we are a separate company, Adaptive Vision SPZOO, which means in Polish it means limited liability company. In the past we were part of a future processing company in Gliwice, Poland, and we were separated, so we are now a fully independent company, independent software vendor. And we also expanded to new locations. We have our office also in Wrocław, which is another city in Poland with a very strong university teaching computer science, ranked second in Poland after Warsaw University. And we just opened office there to acquire more top-level talent to our algorithmic team. We also now cooperate with a company in Opole, who we also take developers from for web development. And as you can see on the chart below, the team of our team has grown quite substantially in the recent years. Currently, we have 34 people in our core team and 5 external full-time developers, which we hire from another companies. We are a software company focused on that, and we sell products related to software together with very strong know-how how to apply it in industrial applications and not only industrial. And also still very important part of our company offering is technical support, which we share with you to really make you successful in your projects. What has also changed quite in our company is that in the past we started as a single product company. We had the flagship product, Adaptive Vision Studio, but in the course of years we added more and more products, and now we introduce ourselves as a product portfolio company. We offer you not just one product, but many different products, all focused on delivering vision applications. We have rapid development environment. We have a library for those who want to do low-level programming. We have deep learning tools, which are very innovative, and they come with Weaver inference engine, which make them very fast. And Weaver is now available also as a separate product for those companies who develop their own neural networks, and they want to use Weaver to move those networks to the production environment with all the requirements for production. And also, for the first time this year, we acquired intellectual property for a product related to computer vision. It's Zilin.io. This is an online image annotation tool which really complements the deep learning product and our entire product portfolio. So one thing that is also new here is that we now are more open to working with companies who develop their own code, who develop their own neural networks, and only need some auxiliary tools or maybe some parts of our product offering. So we can offer you inference engine, we can offer you online tools for image annotation, we can offer you also library in the OEM way, so you can only pay for the tools that you want to use. Okay, so now I am moving to a bit more details. I will give you overview of what is our progress in developing the product. So one of the biggest things in 2020 for us was the release of version 5.0 of Adaptive Vision Studio. This is a really big release coming with several new features, very big features. And the first thing I wanted to show you is the ease of use. And actually, this requirement is often said that software should be easy to use, but actually it's easier said than done. We do not want to have software which is easy but not powerful enough, which doesn't give you flexibility in developing your applications. So there is always a trade-off. But in version 5.0, we added several new things that really make creating applications much easier. These are minimal program view, which is designed for small applications, basic applications. We introduced program sections, which really impose some standard structure for each application. We highly extended the power of formulas, which now can be used to do almost any data post-processing in an easier way that it was in the past. And we also introduced results control. Results control is for showing textual values that were computed by filters, by also gathering statistics and setting inspection limits, which define which object is correct and which is not, or pass-fail statuses. In general, people want more configuration, less programming, and this is what we were also introducing here. And I will give you a very detailed information on this topic actually at 12 today in the presentation on the Smart Edition. I invite you also to look into this presentation. The next thing coming with Adaptive Vision Studio 5.0 as powerful features. A very big thing we introduced were HMI events. Now you can program big interactive user interfaces in a much easier way than it was in the past. Basically, originally we designed our HMI designer to be an interface for showing results and setting some parameters. But if you tried to make it more interactive, highly interactive applications, you may have some trouble, because everything should go through a single program loop. Data processing and HMI communication was done in the same program loop. Now these things are separated. You have one program loop for data processing, and each event, like a change of parameter or a button press, is handled in a separate subprogram. And actually those two things, HMI events and the main program, are executed in parallel. And still another big thing, actually quite related, is parallel tasks. For the first time in Adaptive Vision Studio, you can explicitly create subprograms which will run in parallel. So you can do things like, you can, in one subprogram, you can wait for a picture from a camera, and then in a second subprogram, you can, for example, trigger a software trigger for that, or you can process images from multiple cameras in parallel. One note, actually, this is a very powerful feature, but you must also know that if you use it extensively, actually, there are some challenges because parallel programming can be difficult. So use it also with care. And now I'm moving to the topic of deep learning. And actually, the biggest focus in the recent year and a half in our development was on execution speed. We developed 5 tools, but we were not still very happy with the inference time. And for that, we considered many different options how to make it. There are many ideas on the market, but we decided to really re-implement everything from scratch using very low-level libraries. And because originally we were using TensorFlow, but TensorFlow is a great framework for research, but you need to use some other techniques to really make neural networks fast as possible for GPU or running on CPU. And we implemented everything ourselves, and we achieved typically 3 times faster execution time than open source networks. And we also created it on both GPU and CPU. So now we have our neural networks really running to the limits of what hardware offers on both platforms. And we created this all, we also created as a separate product. So we call it Weaver. You can now call it, you can buy it as a separate product if you use your own neural networks. As a commercial product, of course, we compete here against some open source tools, but it comes with long-term technical support. It has very small API for both C and modern C++. It requires no Python coding. We consider Python not really the right language for production environment. It's great for research, but we highly recommend C or C++ interfaces for production. And comparing also to other inference engines which you can find, actually a very big advantage of Weaver is that it supports both GPU and CPU. Many other inference engines support only one of them. And the API is really small. It really consists of 2 functions. You can see the illustration on the right. There is deployment phase of using neural networks, which loads H5 model from file. This is the thing that you develop with Keras. And then you have a function for running the models. And the inputs and outputs are tensors, which can be converted to images. The performance of our solution is basically state of the art. In the first row on this picture, you have results for our own neural network for feature detection, also highly optimized. We focused a lot when optimizing Weaver to make it really fast on this network. And you can see we achieved the top execution times in all hardware, CPU, GPU, low-end GPU, and middle range GPU, and on the standard neural network, MobileNet version 1, we also compared Weaver to other inference engines. Here, the comparison may be not really straightforward because some of the other frameworks use some special versions of the tools, but at least, if not first, then we at least achieved second highest performance in those benchmarks. Talking about deep learning in general, we still have our 5 tools: object classification, feature detection, anomaly detection, instance segmentation, and point location. What has changed is those tools have been re-implemented using Weaver, and they are now all available at much higher speed than they were something like 2 years ago. A fifth tool actually is coming. We are also working on OCR applications with deep learning. So what's also new? In the meantime, we added auto labeling to Adaptive Vision Studio, so you can train model on some limited number of samples, and then you can use it to actually automatically label more samples. Use it with care. It's a controversial feature. It is very easy to get lazy and to accept incorrectly labeled samples, which may really make your neural networks train much worse. So really make sure that the auto labeling is correct before you accept it. But it can be very, very helpful when you have big data sets. And the next thing is grid search. So we give you a tool where you can put your computer on and leave it for the night or for the weekend and train with many different combinations of parameters. And after many hours, you can really have highly optimized neural network, which gives the highest score in training. What's coming soon? We are working on some new things. Research is now in a second generation of feature detection tool. We are working on a much bigger neural network for difficult projects. Those very, very big neural networks were not maybe fast enough, but we were now able to optimize it much better. So the performance on difficult projects will be really interesting. It's coming, I hope, even this year. And then the next thing, it will be OCR applications. Really, we have quite a lot of experience with traditional OCR applications, and those work perfectly only when the conditions are perfect. I really think that in the future we should really focus on deep learning solutions in character reading, because if there is anything difficult, traditional methods may cause some trouble. And other things that coming with deep learning is more integration with Zilin, and also better dataset management directly in Studio. And Zilin, some of you may already knew that. It's a new product that we bought from another company, and we are now intensively developing it further. It's an online image annotation and dataset management tool. Why is it important? We found that actually working with data becomes the most important. It may be even more important than working with algorithms. And we recognized that dataset management was actually a bottleneck in some of our projects with our customers when we had to have images from many different installations and retrain models to achieve highest possible performance. And we wanted initially to use this product as a client of the company who developed it. But after talking about some features that we were missing, we actually decided to make an offer to that company and buy this product to develop it to the way we want it to be. That's actually a product that was solving a problem that what we had ourselves, and now we can share it with you. There will be another presentation on this topic tomorrow at 10. Please feel invited. I will only quickly tell you why it's important useful to have Zilin. Actually, for sharing images between your team members and with customer, it's faster than shared disk drive. How is it possible? We have many techniques for progressive loading, eager loading of images. You can very quickly browse through big data sets of images without downloading them to your hard disk. It also removes chaos from teamwork when multiple people are working on the same data set, on the same project. This really makes some confusion when multiple people make annotations and in different ways. Zilin has some tools for organizing this. It improves actually quality of your data sets because there is also a method for reviewing annotation. So one person is making annotation, another person is reviewing and accepting or rejecting. This is quite important because little errors in datasets can really impact the quality of your models. Zilin also gives you traceability of who, what, and when was changed. So you will, if there is even some trouble, you will be able to figure the root cause, who made that annotation, how to avoid them, how to avoid mistakes in the future. And it comes with really low cost. It is cloud-based solution coming with low cost monthly subscription. What's coming next in Zilin is we will be adding end-to-end encryption. Some customers requested that. Some people say they have NDAs with customers. I say invite your customer to share images with you through Zilin. Actually, it's just a way to secure your images, and you can get your customer to work on those data sets together with you. But the end-to-end encryption will maybe make you feel a bit more safe. We are also adding training API, so you can connect your training engines to really not only have images online, but also training of the models also online. More details in a separate presentation tomorrow. Also, what's coming, what's new in version 5.0 is there are some changes in the licensing. We came with parallel tasks in 5.0, and at the same time, we introduced some changes in how this affects the licensing policy. So there is a new item, parallel add-on, which you can buy to enable parallel programming in Studio or in library with unlimited number of threads. And in the runtime environment, there are changes in policy. Actually, trends in software licensing as for 2020 are that business software goes into subscription models with all around, and system software goes into per core licensing. You can see it. Everyone is moving that direction. Like if you buy VMware software or SQL Server or even Java runtime from Oracle, it's all now going into direction of licensing per core. So our licensing is now with multi-threaded licensing is also depending on the number of cores. With the limit of 32 cores, you can have the prices depending on the number of physical cores in your processors. So those who make simple applications like single-threaded, they get a very low price for our runtimes, and the more cores you have, the higher the price. But actually, it's not also growing very steeply. It's only a bit more expensive. A bit new thing also is OEM licensing coming in version 5.0. Unofficially, we also had it in the past, but now it's fully official. If you have the minimum order quantity of 25, you can buy individual modules of library, so you can reduce the price that you pay to better reflect the range of tools that you want. So, for example, if you only have code reading, a simple code reading application, you can pay less. The list of modules that you might want to have in your application is clearly visible now in documentation and also in the statistics window. In Studio, it shows you the list of modules that are used in your application. And for the end, things that are coming in the even next version, there are also always many new things coming in each of our release. But the things I wanted to highlight is we will add more features for image dataset management directly to Studio, so you can more easily work with many images and test it. Also, we are considering features for test-driven development in Studio. And next thing is offline mode. Everyone who creates applications for production with cameras also has to have some way to test the system offline. There are some tricks like switching between camera and loading images from files. We will make it easier in 5.1 with a global switch, turning off the image acquisition tools and communication tools and making the application work automatically offline. We are also designing standard HMI for Smart Edition, which will be highly simplified. We see that many projects do not really require anything more than simple checking of individual parts in the production, and they do not need elaborate HMI, but only a standard one, and this will be also coming. And we also noticed that people want some standardization of the applications they create, and we will be adding more standardized way of creating recipes and logging users into the applications. There is also ongoing development, of course, in the tools that we have, the algorithm. There is a lot of work going on in 2D, in 3D, in deep learning, but I wanted to highlight two things. What you can expect in 5.1 will be improved 1D code reading and faster creation of model for template matching. So that's an introduction. I tried to give you an overview of what has came in our product portfolio, how the company has changed. There will be more and more individual presentations on individual topics. I hope my presentation was useful for you, and now we will have time for your questions. There is a chat window, and if you have any questions, please end it with a question mark, because only sentences ended with a question mark are considered questions here, and I will give you my answers. Okay, a lot of greetings here in the chat, and yeah, you can see that a lot of people came. Okay, I'm looking for your questions. Good morning, good morning. And is there any question? Okay, how about using on one PC? There is a question. On one PC, but I do not really understand the question. I'm sorry, but could you please elaborate which this refers to? Okay, I will wait for clarification of the question. Okay, the next question is. Just a second. Is the price related to how many cores we have in the computing unit, or how many of them we use for Adaptive Vision Studio? Okay, so the first one, the multi-threaded licenses are licensed per the number of cores you have in your processor. Why is it so? It's initially we considered number of threads, but actually this brings a lot of confusion. Some programming techniques do not really give you full control over the number of threads you create. So the stronger your computer, the more you pay, or you can use single threaded licenses, which are cheap. So that's, I think, answers this question. Okay, so the next question. Okay. Are there plans to bring adaptive library to mobile applications? Okay, there are not only plans, but it's already possible. You can have. We have a library for ARM processors, which are in the mobile phones, and you can program with our tools for mobile phones. Frankly speaking, I haven't seen any application of this kind yet, but it's definitely possible. The embedded library is basically for things like NVIDIA Jetson or UltraZ or Raspberry Pi, those kinds of platforms. Okay, so I'm looking to more questions. Okay. After this session, can we get the link or file of this presentation? I think it will be available to all registered participants. I'm not sure. I'm not the one who handles that, so I think so. Okay, so looking for more questions. Is it available on Linux, NVIDIA Jetson? Yes, as I already said, we had applications on NVIDIA Jetson. It's tested, it's available. You can download it and start using anytime you want. Okay. Okay, I have a question. Hello, thanks for introduction. I'm wondering why GenICam Grab image filter cannot get image through Active Silicon Frame Grabber directly. Sorry, I'm not the technical support. Usually there is, if Active Silicon offers a GenICam provider, it should work. If it doesn't, then our technical support will solve that problem. Okay, some question. Someone not really fully satisfied with our policies. I used for 4.8 AVL, I feel very hard to programming the limit of the multi-thread. Can you tell me why you limit the core or thread? I tried to answer this question. Actually, we were always licensing terms that limited the use of our software to single vision system. So we are basically partially consulting company. We develop products, but we also work closely with our customers, and our business success really depend on the fact that we are being rewarded from the success of our customers. So the more vision systems our customers deploy, the more we want to be paid. That's the fundamental business assumption of our model. And actually, we see the trend that processors have more and more cores, and you can really make one strong computer to control even multiple production lines. So when we introduced more features for parallel programming, we also adapted to what changed on the market regarding the multi-threaded applications. Of course, the prices I mentioned were for single quantities, for big projects like 100 and above. We are very open to negotiations of those prices. And is it hard to use? I don't think it's really hard because if you have a license with a core limit, it works on computer. You have and you can create any number of threads that you want. Regarding sales issues, I invite you to individual discussion later with join us, and let's discuss your project and see what we can do together. Okay. I meant what pricing for using on one PC. Okay, all our pricing is for one PC. That's regarding runtime licenses. That's still unclear for me how to answer that. The prices I showed are for runtimes running on one PC. We have also some plans of moving into cloud-based licensing, so per use, and we are also probably going to introduce subscription-based licenses for studio. So more things will be coming. World is changing a lot. Companies are moving. Whoever can moves into software as service. This model is not really fully feasible for industrial applications, but there are more modern way of licensing software. And after all, it's what matters the most is the success of your application, and that you sell a lot of machines that you create with our software and with our support. Okay, more and more questions are coming. I still have 7 minutes to answer them. Okay. Using adaptive vision library in mobile apps will help us in our main applications running on PC. As for example, in the mobile app, the user can read part data matrix and get detail in the PC app. I think I still would need more details, but I'm not sure what you consider. What are the mobile apps? If it is an app running on a mobile phone, like on an iPhone, this hasn't been actually our market, but I can imagine there are some applications for that. And like reading codes, I think it should be possible, but we just it was not the platform of choice for industrial applications so far, so I cannot really answer better this question. When will deep learning API support C#? Yeah, that's a good question. We have API for C++, and I think the intention is that if someone needs C#, he should make an interface to C# relatively easily, but not. I know it's not straightforward. If you have C++, it was not just in the roadmap right now. I think we should consider this. This is what I can tell right now. Which embedded hardware works with Adaptive Vision Studio? So what we tested in our office, definitely NVIDIA Jetson, NVIDIA Nano, Raspberry Pi, and Ultra Z from Xilinx company. For those we have some projects, and these platforms are tested. But basically, we offer a build for ARM 7 and ARM 8 application level something. So surely all the platforms with ARM processors should work. Okay, many more questions coming. Let's try to answer as much as I can. Is deep learning module has the same limitations on the amount of cores being used, or other licensing options for deep learning module? So basically, deep learning works on is a special case. It works usually on GPU. And first of all, we haven't yet implemented support for multiple GPUs. So basically, currently the limitations are quite similar to runtime, but we just haven't had many applications, just a few, I think, with multi-threaded use of deep learning. And what's also very important is actually single-threaded applications are really making good use of all the cores internally of the processor. Because one thing I must say, it may be not very clear that when I say multi-threaded applications, I mean the number of threads that are created by the user, number of threads in which you use our tools. But all the tools, even in the cheapest single-threaded runtime, use all the processor cores as much as they can to improve performance. Okay. Did you implement multi-threading also on algorithm level, so that a blob tool can analyze one part of the image in one thread and another part in image in another thread to increase speed? Yes, of course, this is something we have always had, and all the tools, almost all the tools are implemented in that way. Actually, we find that there is a performance improvement when you have two cameras and you have template matching in both. Running template matching separately in parallel tasks gives you higher performance than one by one. Although each individual tool also uses all the possible cores, but due to the details of the computer architecture, actually the higher level you can employ multi-threading, the better performance you get. Do you support OmniVision CMOS sensors? Sorry, I don't know. We should ask our technical support, but I don't think so. Basically, we do not support CMOS sensors at all. We support frame grabbers and cameras. Is the price the same between 2D and 3D application? Yes. Yes, it is. Is there a Weaver library compatible with C#? Basically, the main API is in C and modern C++. we created also the C API to really make it easy to interface it with many different languages, with Python, and C# and whatever, but the C# is not directly available right now. Just the Weaver API was only recently released, so not everything at once. We will be adding more things. Do you have plans for more modern HMI design like WPF elements? Actually, there is the discussion whether WPF is modern enough already. Currently, yes, we have HMI designer for based on WinForms, and we are the next step. We are considering actually moving more into web-based interfaces. So WinForms gives you possibility to create very big, very complicated HMIs and highly interactive. And but we consider actually more modern approach is to go into web-based interfaces. Actually, I need to finish. I still have unanswered questions. Too many answer too many questions at once. I will try to answer those later in individual discussions. But now my colleagues want to enter the presentation room to prepare for the next presentation, which is coming at 10 a.m. Thank you very much for your attendance. I can see there are a lot of people. Currently, we are here still in the Q&A session, 147 people listening to us. So I'm very happy you all joined us. And I invite you to the next presentation at 10 a.m. Thank you very much.